So, Jess, I want to throw that over to you because I felt I've talked way too much about that part. You work with the Outdoor Women's Association, and you pulled for us a great visual to kind of talk about this in another way.
Yes. So these are two images from the Women's Outdoor Media Association. It's a nonprofit that raises money to give to other nonprofits that are specifically raising funds for female veterans and first responders. And I think that these pictures are great. And to go on with what you were saying, Lori, having pictures from real life is incredibly important. There's tons of stock photography websites out there. And now I think we're a little bit more keen on understanding and picking up on a stock photo versus a real photo. But for the most part, we all have smartphones, right? And we're in the moment, we take pictures. Don't be afraid to use those images. People really want to see the people behind what you're doing. And I think that that really pulls out the emotion and the real rawness of why you're asking them for that meeting. And to use, I mean, there's a time and place for stock images, but you don't have to be a professional photographer. Don't feel like you have to have the lighting right and this has to be perfect and we got to retouch this or do that. We're humans. Like, we want to see the real people. And so I think that these two images are really great of these are women that we're trying to get more women out in the outdoors and specifically fishing, and they had never fished before. And
Wow.
happy faces, beautiful background. We didn't need to retouch that, the electrical line in the background. It's life. And I think people are more drawn to realistic images because we're also now picking up on more photoshopped images, right? Maybe 10 years ago, people that weren't in the digital world, they wouldn't be able to pick up on an image if it was photoshopped. Now people kids can say, hey, that was photoshopped. So use real images is my point.
That's great. And, I always recommend to clients, especially if you have events, to take more pictures. I think it's something that we tell ourselves, but in the midst of the event, sometimes it gets lost. And it's like, to Jess's point, you don't have to use a professional photographer. Just having, it's amazing. iPhones and Android phones sometimes have a better camera than some cameras. And I can say this because my husband is a cameraman. So he said it. The authority told me. So, I love that. And I think too, Jess, don't you think with the way we consume media now, we consume media online, and we're watching videos from all different types of people and sources. We're used to seeing things that aren't 100% polished, right?
We are absolutely inundated with media everywhere we go. And we have seen in the last few years, and I think COVID might have been kind of also a tipping point of this, that our culture is actually demanding more real content. We don't want that heavily photoshopped, heavily rendered, over makeuped, type of content. People want to see the real human being because it gives them a connection point. They want to be able to see themselves or someone that they know in that content, and that creates that emotional connection, which is really what you want, because that's what's going to get someone most likely to buy on.